A new age has begun. The Alliance and Horde can only cling to hope. Deathwing has returned. Welcome to Blizzcon.
That was the opening ceremonies of BlizzCon 2009 with 26,000 hardcore Blizzard fans in attendance here in Anaheim, California. This is the moment they've all been waiting for. Huge announcements at the opening ceremonies, but a brand new class for Diablo 3 and the brand new World of Warcraft, the expansion pack, Cataclysm. It rocked the crowd here.
How exciting was that? We are literally changing the entire face of Azeroth. It cannot get bigger than that.
It's a big announcement. Fans didn't know what to expect, but you saw it live here on DirecTV with our 18 hours of uninterrupted high-definition coverage. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Jeff Keighley, along with Kat Hunter, and we just saw the opening ceremonies. Just the first bit of news from Blizzard. Mike Morhaime was up on stage there, and then Chris Metzen, the VP of Creative Development, made a couple of big announcements. So let's go over those, Kat, because Mike is making his way over to the stage here, and we're going to interview him live when he gets here. Kat, first of all, let's talk a bit about Cataclysm. It was rumored online, lots of information in that trailer. There's going to be a panel at the bottom of this hour, which we're going to give to everyone live on DirecTV.
Which will give us a lot more information, obviously.
Exactly, but why don't you tell us a bit about what we can expect from Cataclysm? There was a lot of information there. It's going to change the face of Azeroth. So are they actually changing the world this time?
So it looks like Deathwing coming back, and all of the whatever is going on with the world is actually going to break apart the world that we've seen before. So the Barrens is going to change. You know, all of these other worlds that we've been questing in for so long are finally going to change. He mentioned the two new races, the Goblin and the Worgen. Worgen for the Alliance, of course, and Goblin for the Horde. We have flying mounts in Azeroth.
There was a huge cheer from the crowd for flying mount. That's a big deal,
It's a huge deal. It's going to change how everything happens. And that means they have to rework a lot of the game because the game was not designed to be able to fly over. So that's a lot of work for them. We have new race class combinations, but they did not go into what those were. I'm sure we're going to see more of that in the class panel that we're going to hear about later today. New monsters, of course, new dungeons and raids. They mentioned a guild leveling system. No details on that yet, but that's very exciting. And achievements as well. A new profession, archaeology, and the level cap is only going to 85 this time rather than to 90. So
normally they do 10, so it's going to be, we assume it'll be harder to get those levels now, right?
It must be a lot of time between it. Some of the speculation with why it's 85 is because Blizzard wants to hold off before they get to 100 as long as possible, you know, kind of tease it in the lower levels. So we'll see. That's a good question to ask Mike when he gets here.
All right, well, that was our reaction to some of the big announcements, but now we're going out to Jo Garcia. She is with some of the fans just walking away from the opening ceremonies. Jo, what do the fans think of the announcements?
The fans are pouring out of this hall. I'm actually surprised that they didn't say a little bit more about StarCraft, but I'm a little sad. But for the Horde, the Goblins are out. I'm surprised and shocked. What do you guys think? What's your initial reaction?
Utter fangirl squeal. It's like, oh, I can't believe it, but I'm just incredibly excited. I joined midway through Burning Crusade, so the ability to go back and do a lot of the classic stuff is just awesome. I mean, I'll get to Deathwing.
What about you? What were you anticipating the most, and what did you get out of the welcoming?
Well, the Diablo 3 was nice, but the WoW announcement was what I was really looking forward to, and yeah, and my God, old world, but on the same aspect, it's Deathwing. He's gonna whoop something.
What about you guys? What were you anticipating the most? What did you get out of the ceremony?
I like the new professions that they have for Warcraft. And I think Blizzard does a good job with all these games, and they keep the fans happy. They keep pushing the limits with the games and giving us new challenges. So it's really good.
One last question for you. What do you guys think about the Diablo's new monk?
Awesome, awesome. I've been a big fan of Diablo, and I'm real excited to see what they're going to do with Diablo 3, and Monk's going to be, I think, really kick-ass.
Well, I'm anticipating the Monk. I was sitting on Diablo computer just a few minutes ago. It was bad, and I can't wait to get back over there. So I'm going to let you guys take it at the desk while I go play.
Released over the next 2 years.
All right, well, thank you very much, Jo Garcia, out there with the fans. And now, through the magic of television, we are joined by a man who was just on stage, the CEO, president, and co-founder of Blizzard, Mike Morhaime. Mike? welcome back to BlizzCon. How does it feel?
Welcome back to you.
Thank you. We're glad to be here. I mean, you had 8,000 fans there in the main area for the opening ceremonies. A lot of news you guys broke with Diablo 3 and this brand new World of Warcraft expansion. Joe was just talking to some of the fans. Everyone is so excited about this thing, and I guess we're going to hear more on the World of Warcraft panel that's coming up at the bottom of the hour.
Yes, absolutely. There was a lot of energy in that room. I mean, and throughout the whole conference, you know, this is the biggest BlizzCon we've had, and you really have a sense that something really big's happening. So really proud and excited to be part of it.
Now, it's been a little under a year since Lich King has been released, and here we are back at BlizzCon, and we have 4 halls instead of 3. And what is your takeaway looking back at Blizzard over the last year?
Well, we've had a fantastic year. You know, there's been a really challenging economy, and in spite of all that, you know, people still want to play games, and we've just really stayed focused on trying to provide a great experience to the players. Development is going along great on Diablo 3 and StarCraft 2. Got some great announcements to talk about with our vision for the future of Battle.net, and you know, trying to finish up StarCraft and get it out.
That's right. Well, I should ask you about that because we've been on Twitter talking to a lot of the fans about what questions we should ask you. And of course, the most common question everyone wants to know, you know, StarCraft 2, the beta, you didn't say anything about it in the opening ceremonies. Is there any update about when players might actually get a chance to enter the beta for StarCraft 2?
We don't have a date yet, but you know, that is the focus. We're working on getting the beta ready, and you know, we don't want to put it out too early.
So will the beta at least be this year? Are you confident enough to say that the beta would start this year?
I'm confident the beta will start this year.
All right, well, that's breaking a little news. That's good, Mike, and it'll be a little while afterwards until the game comes out, but we're really excited, obviously, to hear more about StarCraft 2. Another thing that you mentioned in the opening ceremonies was the World of Warcraft movie. Sam Raimi, we didn't realize this. He was actually here at BlizzCon. He must have been in a hood or something like that.
We did, yeah. We had a nice conversation with him backstage at the last show. You know, and we're thrilled to find out that he was a Warcraft player himself and a big fan of the universe.
Awesome. Now, when can we expect more updates about that movie? I mean, he's working on Spider-Man 4, I know. It's the next film he's going to direct, so it would probably be sequenced after that film. So we still have a ways to wait until the film comes out, right?
Yeah, I don't have a timeline for you. Right. You know, I do know we're real interested to, you know, go and attach additional strong talent to the movie, and real committed to making sure that the movie lives up to, you know, expectations we have of it, and also that our players have.
There's a lot going on with Blizzard right now. We have Diablo 3 is looking like it's got to be fairly close, you know, although we don't have a date for that, obviously. We have StarCraft 2, which is going to be sometime next year. We know the expansion is going to be coming up in the next year or 2 years. So you're going to have every franchise producing a new title over the next 2 years, plus the movie. Are you prepared for this, and what is that going to mean?
Well, you know, we've had multiple teams really going full bore for the last few years now,
right,
and have really focused on ramping up those teams and building some really, really strong, concentrated talent. Right. So I think Blizzard is really more prepared than ever to be supporting that amount of content.
Right.
You know, and with the amount of time it takes us to put out games, I think we really need to be doing multiple things at a time. So better get good at it.
That's a very good point.
Now, let me ask you about next year. Recently on the Activision earnings call, you said that there would probably be 2 big Blizzard releases next year. You said people shouldn't draw conclusions about what those games would be. Obviously,
right,
one is StarCraft. Now you've announced World of Warcraft Cataclysm. You didn't say anything about the release date yet. Is that sequenced to come out in 2010?
Good point. We didn't say anything about a release date.
Exactly.
But we have said that we were targeting 2 major releases, and Cataclysm is what we have in mind.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's exciting. So obviously the fans will want to hear a lot more about that, what's happening with Cataclysm. But we had a question from Twitter about a fan who's asking about some of your old games. DBLDN asks, Mike, is there any plans to bring Rock and Roll Racing or Lost Vikings to Xbox Live Arcade, PSN, or Steam?
Currently, there aren't any plans to do that, but you know, having worked on those titles, and you know, they certainly have a lot of sentimental value looking back on the development of those games. You know, really appreciate the question, and we love to hear people asking about them.
All right, there's too many things to do at Blizzard, right?
Yeah, we have to focus.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We had another question on Twitter, which may go into something you haven't talked about yet, but I know you're working on another MMO currently, and then everything that you've done with World of Warcraft. Where do you think the future of MMOs are